Let's keep calm and mother on. Mothering is way too important to do alone and way too serious to be serious all the time. My name is Christy Thomas, and I am here shoulder to shoulder with you, mothering and enjoying life together. This is the podcast where you can focus on being mindful and taking a deep breath with me and learning new things so you can pause and savor the amazing life you already have. Now let's go. Yay! It's a week before Thanksgiving. And before we head into the holiday season, which I feel like Thanksgiving officially kicks off for most of the United States, and maybe, I don't know what the rest of the world is like. But before we head into this holiday season and we embrace gatherings with family and friends and a lot of things that maybe we haven't done in 2 years, this is the time to pause and really dig deep with your own family. And let's dig deep about what it looks like to say, I love you. Can you say I love you without using those 3 little words? Absolutely, right? Did things pop into your head right away of what I love you looks like, or sounds like, or feels like to you? As a mom, I know that there's lots of little tiny things that I say and I do all day long that I hope makes my kids realize that I love them, right? Without saying those words, I love you. In fact, let me restart here because this was a perfect example. You may have heard the word mom happening in the background. And one of the ways I show I love you, right, is pausing and leaning into the interruption of being asked to help. By helping with a joyful, mostly joyful spirit. Okay. So what are the other ways that you show love to your kids? Well, for the littlest kids, right? Like the ways that we love them are really corporal acts of mercy, according to the Catholic Church. So let's talk about that. There are 7 acts of mercy, and they are to feed the hungry, give drink to the thirsty, shelter the homeless, visit the sick, visit the prisoners, bury the dead, and give alms to the poor. And usually when we think about these acts of mercy, being kind to people, we think of the people outside of our house first. But really, as parents, we're trusted to love the people inside our house well. And if we just said, I love you all day long, those words might lose their significance. We could become like Charlie Brown's teacher. I know you're going to watch that movie. I love Charlie Brown Thanksgiving with the popcorn and the jelly beans and the pretzels and the toast. But the teacher sounds like this. Wah, 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 wah. And I don't know about you, but I'm sure you don't either. You don't want your words of I love you to sound like that to your kids, just like rote repetition. So instead, we pause and we think about, what does love look like? What does love feel like? What does love do, right? What does love say when it's not just those words? It's drive safely. Buckle your seatbelt. Do you need any help? Would you like a foot massage? Will you teach me? Right? When your kid is talking about their passionate thing. The number of Mario Kart lessons I've had or Minecraft talks. That's an act of love. Have you ate today? Right? Can I run an errand for you? Those things are what we offer to our friends and what we offer to our kids, but we don't always label them as love. And maybe it would help if we did. Right now, we're living in a world that feels very disconnected from each other. And maybe it always feels this way. And just it always takes midlife for people to notice how busy everyone else is. So as I'm sitting here reflecting about what it feels like to have Thanksgiving after 2 years apart from seeing people, right? That it's important to pause and remember to think about what love feels like. And I saw this post on Instagram and it says, say I love you without using those 3 words. And people gathered all their ideas. I'll make you nachos, right? Is a I love you in our house. I'm here for you. Would you like a cup of tea? I made you dinner. This made me think of you. Here's a meme. I'll sit with you. You pick the YouTube video. There's 100 ways to say I love you. But sometimes we need to be explicit and tell our kids that we do these things because we love them. I think that it's not always the action that matters. It's the impact of the action, right? And in our busy lives, if we don't say, I love you and I want to teach you this because it's important to me, and I want you to know how to do this, I want you to teach your kids how to do this. That's what Thanksgiving makes me think of. Is traditions being passed down. If we're not that explicit, that our kids might wander around our house feeling a little bit lonely, wondering if we love them without realizing all the actions, all the teeny tiny things are actually ways we say I love you. The world is so confusing, isn't it? Here I sit, and I've been a human now for 40 years, and I still get confused. So no wonder when I look at my 18-month-old nephew or my 9-year-old son or my teenage daughters, and I'm like, wow, you've only been practicing this for 9 years. You have a lot more time to practice this. Let's figure this out together. I can see why it would be confusing to you. We don't always assume that when someone does something kind, that they're doing it just because they love us. So let's teach that. Let's remove that invisible idea and be more direct with each other. Last weekend, I was at the funeral for my grandfather who died in October. He was 93. And as we were listening to the stories of his kids telling us about what it meant to have him as a dad, I wondered if he knew how many ways his little actions of love were memories for them. The things that we do as parents, we forget that someone else is collecting them as memories. So that's the point of this podcast today. Talk to your kids. That's the family fun act for today. Talk to your kids about what love feels like, what love sounds like, what words sound like love, right? What does love actually do? What does love mean to them? And you can ask this of a 3-year-old and a 13-year-old and a 40-year-old. What does love look like? We want love to feel easy for each other. The world is complicated, but our love and how we love doesn't have to be if we are just a little bit more direct with what we need and what it looks like. Like, I know that no matter what, if I like something, my dad's going to find a way to give me a case of it. Like when he gave me a case of French onion soup for my birthday one year. That's what love looks like to my dad. Taking care of you, making sure you have the food that you like. Thanks, Dad. And for your act of self-care this week, how about you model sitting down, and while you're sitting down and letting yourself take a moment of rest, text someone or call someone that you love and tell them thank you for a specific way that you know that they say I love you. We all need each other. Life is too fragile to do without other people. And I am so glad you're here. Thank you for listening so much. And thank you for participating on Instagram and email conversations back and forth with me about how to keep calm and mother on. And have a very, very happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. Bye, everyone.